This tutorial, I'm going to show you how to use a template that uses UK habitat styles and biodiversity net gain calculations based on the template produced by Natural England. You're going to need all three of these files. So this is the project template, and it refers to the UK Hab GeoPack file by QGIS, and optionally the Zoom to the UK. So if I click on the project to open it, it may give me some warnings that it's using a ballpark transformation. That's just so that it can use Google Satellite, which I've put into the template. We can close that down. And if I ever get into trouble zooming in and out and around the globe, I can come back to the UK using that shape that's under the satellite image. The template comes with some layers already in there. It has areas for you to put polygons in for existing habitats, linear features and points. These all have star files attached. And for biodiversity net gain, you can put in proposed areas and features. You can also use this layer here, which is the red line boundary to go around your study site. So I'm going to zoom into an area that I know quite well, and we're going to start making a map of this area here. And I'm going to select the polygon area, toggle editing, and the new polygon tool. And I'm going to go around some of this woodland. Ignore the fact that there's water in there for now. Now, it's given me a form to fill out, and it won't let me fill out these habitat codes unless I first fill out the level 2 habitat code. So you have to do these in order. Now, that's a woodland, so I'm going to go woodland and forest, and then it's going to give me the options in the next level. So I'm going to go to other woodland, mixed, mainly broadleaved. That will do for me. And it's given me the habitat code W1H5 automatically. If I have been given a condition for that habitat, I can fill that in as well. And this field, we can leave null if we want to, but if we're doing biodiversity net gain, we can state whether that area will be retained or lost. I do have a second page on the form for secondary codes, principally. Now, normally we stick to the essential codes, but I could perhaps suggest that there's some scattered bracken in the woodland, and perhaps it's partial plantation, which it is because it's a park. So we might want to call it semi-natural woodland, and I can OK that. Now, I can see that that's given me a black dotted habitat there. That's because that code doesn't have yet an accepted color for mapping. W1H5, there is none. Okay, so we may decide for the purposes of our mapping to use a different habitat code, or we could take the closest symbol, copy that, and add one in here, so W1H5, and paste the symbol on top. This would be mixed woodland, mostly broadleaved. There we go. But for the most part, the codes that we select will be available in the styles. So if I appreciate that I haven't been particularly accurate with my drawing here. If I draw a new area, using the snapping to make sure I don't leave any gaps. It's very important in UK Habs that we don't have overlapping polygons, so all the areas add up. And we're going to call that a grassland. We might decide, you can't see much of the water feature in this area, but we might decide that we need to cut out the river from there. So we're going to have some standing water. I am, first of all though, just going to turn that one off so I can actually see some of the lake in here to help guide me. So if I produce another polygon on top, we're going to call that Rivers and Lakes, and we're going to call it Eutrophic Standing Waters, R1A. It's quite shaded, it's probably not going to make good, so we're going to call it Moderate. And there we have that shape there. You can see I've made an error here, so I'm just going to correct that shape. And save the change. Okay, so we've got an overlapping shape now. Now we can't have areas that are both woodland and wetland. Our calculations will be all over the place, so we have to cut this area out from the one behind it. So if I use the select tool and select that wetland, and then use a plugin. If I go to manage and install plugins and type in Clipper, I can install that one, which clearly I already have installed, and then it will start to appear in vectors. Go to Clipper, and all being well, it should clip out that area from all the other shapes around it. Now, if I toggle that habitat on and off, you'll see I've cut a shape out of it. There we go. The habitat codes can be displayed. If you go to Labels, and single labels, I can pick which field I want to display on there. White, apply. I can obviously add linear features to this if I want to. Up here I have a line of lime trees, which goes all the way down the park. You can see a slightly different colour there. And that's an old line of lime trees, and I would absolutely have to map it. At this scale, I may do that as an area. It's also possible that I'd want to do that as a linear feature. So I'm going to draw along my line of trees, and it's going to open up another form for me. Now this is one of those areas where the biodiversity net gain calculations and the UK Habs system don't yet match up very well. So if we go to woodland and forest, which is where we expect to find it, what we need to put in is other broadleaf woodland. And it gives us W1G. What we need is W1G6. So we're going to have to change that afterwards. But we can have a look in the metadata, and we can mark it line of trees if we want to. And we can make some comments if we need to. So, and we can OK that. And what I'm going to do is copying the symbol and creating a new field, pasting the symbol in there. And we have the current accepted style for a line of trees. I can put the polygons back in now as well. And that line of trees won't affect our area classification. Where the linear features can be quite useful is with hedgerows. So if there's a boundary here that that is a hedgerow, I can add one in here. And that goes under heathland and scrub and hedgerows. And I've got the different types here. So I'm just going to call it a hedgerow at this stage. And OK that, and it gives me the standard hedgerow style. I can also add points, make that editable, and add some points in. I'm just going to add that as a point there. I'm going to call it other developed land for now. And I should be able to add some secondary codes, recreational area, recreation ground, children's play space. There we are. And you can see my point is added, and I can add the secondary codes is probably the most useful for that one. Make those white so that I can see them better. There we are. I can, if I want to, make use of this red line boundary to mark my site. And save the area.